5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading Between the Wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all: entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome on into Reading Between the Wines. I want to say thank you so much. Please do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, text a friend, invite a friend in to this Reading Between the Wines session. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. Tonight, episode 48, off of Disc 5 Restoration. Again, this is part of the mentorship series. I want to say thank you so much for coming in. And of course, I most certainly could not do this without my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and give you the Reading Between the Wine show. I also want to thank each and every one of you out there for the support, the love, the likes, the comments, the shares, the DMs, the messages. I just want to say thank you so much. And we're going to have a great show tonight. Great show, great breakthrough moments, not just for you, but also for me. So there is a reason why I'm still here. I understand why I'm still here, and I'm here to grow. So if you're here to grow, you're here to learn and elevate and get to the next level the best way that you possibly can, then you definitely want to stick around. This is Wednesday, September 3rd. I want to say a very special happy birthday to my sister. Enjoy your day. And we have author Birdman 313 coming in tonight. And I'm sampling Chardonnay. I told you all that I would end the summer season with Chardonnay, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here tonight. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and do a recap of our last episode. So, last episode, we had someone who wrote in anonymous, and they said that they were a slave to the look. So, the last episode was basically about someone who looks the part, caught up in the material world, but their bank account doesn't match. So there are people who look rich, but in reality, they're not rich. They're expensive in their clothes. They're expensive in their homes. They're expensive in their cars. They're expensive and they look luxurious on the outside, but it doesn't match financially with their bank accounts on the inside. And a lot of this is basically how we were brought up, what we were programmed to do, and decide to break away from the normal routine that didn't work from generation to generation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what's called breaking generational curses. Now, this individual, their mom drilled into them that a woman should look like money, basically feeding the material world, feeding the materialistic aspect of it. So there are a lot of people that when you see people out there with the nice clothes, the cars, the jewelry, this, that, the next, the other, before you decide to take everything for face value, I just want you to remember that there are a lot of people out there who have more car than they have house. More people who have more clothes than they have house. More people who have more jewelry than they have a car. Vice versa. So if you want to find out what my opinion is, again, I'm not here to give you any advice. I'm only speaking from real life experiences. You can go ahead and check that replay out on YouTube. You also can check it out on where you listen to most major podcasts. To name a few, I am on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, Audacity, just to name a few. Go ahead and check that out. Everything is at Laren Gaines. And if you would like information on how you could have a seat at the table, because we're going to sit down tonight. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a good conversation tonight. But if you want to join in, do me a favor. Reach out to me. DM me, text me 609-200-1098. Let me know if you want some more information on how you can be a part of the mentorship series and how you can have a seat at the table. But we're definitely going to get in tonight. We're going to sit down and we're going to have a great conversation with author Birdman 313. But before we do so, I'm going to go ahead and get into the song of the day. Love is Blind. Eve, featuring Faith Evans, released in 1999 off of the album Let There Be Eve, Ruff Ryders' First Lady. Now, tonight's episode, it's titled Poor Decisions. Now, it's spelled different, of course, reading between the lines, poor spelled P-O-U-R instead of P-O-O-R. But sometimes, and again, I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience. It's sometimes I have to take it here and go down memory lane so that I can remember and I can grow and we can learn together. So don't take this personal. If anything, I'm going to take it personal because I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen to me again. These poor decisions. Tonight's episode is titled Poor Decisions. So I'm going to pour out some stuff and I'm going to pour out some decisions that I've made in the past. I'm going to lay them all out on the table. Remember, I said we're going to sit at the table tonight. I'm going to lay them all out at the table. I'm going to throw away what needs to be thrown away. I'm going to pack away what needs to be packed away, and I'm going to keep it moving. And I'm going to move towards my destiny because some of these poor decisions was what was keeping me from being the best version of myself. Now, Eve says love is blind and it will take over your mind. And the mind is a very powerful tool, and it can elevate you if you have it programmed properly, or it can destroy you. And this all depends on who programmed you and what frequency you were tuned into. Now, when Eve says it can take over your mind, love can take over your mind so much that some of us forget who we are in the process of trying to please another human being. Now, I'm going to go have to rewind that again, especially for some of y'all who might just be coming in, or maybe you didn't understand. Oh, because trust and believe, I overstand today. That love can take over your mind so much that some of us forget who we are in the process while we're sitting here trying to please another human being. We forget who we are. Now, what we think is love, sometimes at the end of the day, man, that ain't. And excuse me, good people, but it's just one of these nights tonight. Sometimes that love ain't. They might buy you this, they might buy you that, they might take you here, they might take you there, sell you a dream, tell you this 1 minute, the next minute, and then next thing you know, they doing a 180 on you, and they're giving you their butt to kiss. Remember, there's a thin line between love and hate. These people will love you today and then hate you tomorrow. Act like they don't even know you. Act like they ain't even share the most intimate moments with you. Act like you just somebody out on the street, and they'll treat a stranger better than they'll treat you after you done spent however long you spent with them. Now, what you think is love is truly not. Sometimes, I'm not saying that this is for everybody. For those of you who experience it and it's great, wonderful. Congratulations. But a lot of us, we haven't made it there yet because some of us don't even know what it's like to even love ourselves. So if we don't even know how to love ourselves, how can we turn around and love somebody else? Eve says you need to elevate your mind and find. But what do we need to find? And I believe it's that we need to find ourselves. Elevate and get off that frequency that you are tuned into, that lower vibrational frequency that you are tuned into, where you think that you need to rely on another human being to make you happy. And it's okay if there's somebody out there that is feeling every single thing that I'm speaking about, because trust and believe, as I celebrate 5 years of doing this, 5 years ago, I had no idea who I was. I was every single thing in this record called Love is Blind. What did Tina Turner say? Just a fool in love? I was right there. But it's okay, because guess what? If we recognize and we understand and we know what's going on, when you know better, you do better. If you have an opportunity to wake up tomorrow, you can pray and find a way to just do it better. Just a little bit better today than it was yesterday. Now, I have to remember, like Jennifer Hudson, I have to remember me and make sure that I understand that it takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody. And even though the spinners taught me that love don't love nobody, that didn't stop me from making some of these same mistakes, thinking that I can trust you when I knew from day one that you were untrustworthy. How many times did we trust people from day one when we knew full well that they were untrustworthy, but something deep down inside of us thought that, yeah, I could change that. I can change them. This narrative is going to come out so much different once I get my hands all over it, and once I go ahead and get involved, because I think that I know how to handle it and I know what I'm doing. But like Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And I say, listen, you better believe them the first time and not the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Better get it the first time, because trust and believe that they're going to do it again. But like Queen Latifah, my girl Mary J. Blige says, that these are just people, just ordinary people. And like I said before, they'll do it again. Just give them enough time. And sure enough, that's exactly why we're here tonight on Reading Between the Lines, because I played this story before. I played this same sad song before. But like I said earlier, when you know better, you do better. Pour all of that stuff out on the table. Pour it all out. Empty those bags. Get rid of all of that stuff. And make sure that you don't carry that stuff from the past into your future. But sometimes we got to remember. We have to take it there, and we got to remember to make sure that don't never happen again. Episode 48, Poor Decision. Song of the day, Love is Blind. Love is Blind by Eve, featuring Faith Evans. Sometimes I get a little carried away. I get a little carried away sometimes, only because, like I said, I have an obligation to come out here and give you all this great information, because I wish that somebody was there giving it to me. And maybe they were, but I just wasn't listening. So we might repeat some of these same scenarios. We might go through some of these same things over and over and over again. And that could just be because maybe the first day you weren't listening, but maybe we'll get you on the second or third day. Who knows? Maybe the fifth replay, the sixth replay. Who knows? But in any case, we are all interconnected. We are all one and the same. And just because you over there is going through something does not mean that I haven't experienced it. I'm not going to experience it. I didn't just come out of it. I don't know who did just come out of it, whether it be a best friend, family, cousin, uncle, brother, sister, whoever. Like I said, we're all in this together. Let's get into this wine here before I go ahead and get Birdman 313 in here. But before we begin sampling, the wine tonight, I want to remind everyone that Black Diamond Consultations and Reading Between the Wines encourages responsible drinking at all times. Please, people, please be mindful that alcohol affects your spiritual. And they don't just call it wine and spirits for no reason. It affects your spiritual being. It affects your mental, physical, and financial. Now, I'm sitting here as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about this. Keyword is that it can. Not saying that it will, it can. Irresponsible habits can lead to harmful consequences in each of these areas of your life. Enjoy the experience, savor the flavors, and know your limits, because the best memories are made when we sip responsibly. So now we have Sutter Home Chardonnay. And this is like basically when I hear Sutter Home, I think of Beringer, I think of Gallo. These are basically like your house wines. And Chardonnay, Sutter Home, our family has been bringing people together since 1948. And by the way, this is one of the largest wineries in the entire world. Join us in raising a glass with our elegant Chardonnay, featuring fresh pear and citrus aromas, lead to rich, creamy peach and apple flavors, and full of a luxurious finish. Now, the bottle says that this is going to be a medium dry wine. Now, before I even brought in Chardonnay, at the beginning of this season, I let everybody know that Chardonnay is not one of my favorite wines. I'll repeat, Chardonnay is not one of my favorite wines. So I saved this to the end, and I always try different ones, and I haven't had this one in a minute. I do believe that the first time that I did try Chardonnay, it was the Sutter Home brand. And then I experienced a couple others, and then it sort of just, so to speak, I know it sounds interesting saying that, but it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I stayed away from Chardonnay. And I promised that I would go ahead and try it again and see what it brings. So let's get into this. Again, this is from the California region. This is produced by Sutter Home Winery, and it's one of the largest family-run independent wineries in the, I said world, but in the United States. I stand corrected. This is made from 100% Chardonnay grapes. The average price of this bottle is going to be about maybe $7. So it is a very good budget-friendly wine. And you're looking at 13 to 13.5% alcohol content. And let's see what this bottle says here. This bottle says 13.5. The appearance, you're going to get that bright pale straw hue color, that yellow color. You're going to get that. It basically is like your typical Chardonnay, that yellow color. So if you ever see a deep yellow colored glass of wine, I would probably say it might be Chardonnay or Riesling. This has inviting aromas of pear, zesty citrus, creamy peach, juicy apple. The taste should be smooth and round with a silky texture. You're going to get notes of woody notes, classic stone fruit, orchard fruit flavors. There's that apple, pear, peach, balanced by creamy undertones and a clean finish. This pairs well with shellfish, poultry, pork chops, creamy pastas, mild cheeses, seafood and chicken dishes, white sauce pastas, and turkey-based recipes. We almost there. Sutter Home is a pioneer of approachable, crowd-pleasing wines with its Chardonnay, like its famous White Zinfandel, which is one of my favorites. This reflects an easygoing, affordable style This winemaking approach blends traditional techniques with modern tank aging to balance richness and freshness. Now, out of 5 stars, this one received 4 out of 5 stars. So, I want to say that when it comes to the Sutter Home wines, between White Zinfandel and Chardonnay, this is probably up there. These are their most two popular wines. This wine has received the New World International Wine Competition with 95 points, which equals to gold. 2019, Monterey International, again, 91 points, which is a gold medal. 2019 for Los Angeles International Wine Competition, 90 points, gold medal. So we get Birdman in here. Chardonnay offers a rich yet bright flavor profile. Silky texture with pear, apple, citrus, and peach leading the way. With a creamy finish and a clean, refreshing structure, it's an excellent go-to for everyday enjoyment or pairing with hearty, creamy, and seafood-based dishes. So cheers. I want to say thank you so much for joining in on another episode of Reading Between the Wines. I'm going to sample this, give you a brief preview of what I think, and we're going to bring in author Birdman 313. I will tell you that this has a very strong texture to it, and I get the medium dry. It's not overly dry. It's not overly sweet. It's perfectly well balanced in the middle. And I agree with the stars. I agree with the 4 out of 5 stars. I would definitely get this again. Again, Chardonnay is not my favorite. I want to try the Martha Stewart. She has a Chardonnay, which is a lighter one. And I do know that they have lighter versions of Chardonnay out there from several different brands. So that will definitely be the next one up. If I sample Chardonnay again, I want to go with the Martha Stewart one. And on that note, let's go ahead and bring author Birdman 313 in. What's going on? How are you?
Oh man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Just chilling now.
Well, welcome on in. Welcome on in.
Yes, yes. Good to be here today.
Yeah, how you feeling today?
Oh man, Phew. I've been doing videos mostly all day. Of I told you I was going out of town. Oh man, that was a blessed 3 days. And hey, I did some. I shot some videos Friday performance that I did, and then I shot some Sunday that I did along with some friends, and I just been working on them and trying. I still got to email them to them, but I got them downloaded on my YouTube channel and Instagram. So it's just been doing that all day long, and tomorrow I'll be doing emailing them. So hey man, I'm just enjoying it.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you enjoyed your time off. You sparked something, and just that quick little conversation that we had, and you said you're going to be emailing stuff to friends, you were spending time with friends. And I think that's what sparked my little conversation today when it comes to poor decisions. I had to think about the poor decisions that I made when it comes to friendships.
Yes.
Mm.
I mean, you know what? Everybody do. I mean, even I, sometimes I'll get in that bad mood, or I ain't gonna say a bad mood, but I'll get in that mood, and I'll think about the friends I met, and then I have to think about, oh, if I hadn't have met them, I wouldn't have
Mm.
learned nothing. And now I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm
see.
I'm more choosy. Is that the right word? I'm more choosy now, than I used to be.
You know, I want to say thank you so much. I have to give you credit for that because see, when I came in here tonight, I was in my feelings and I shouldn't have been, but I thought maybe I should because maybe this is how I started it in 2020. Maybe it just needs to be one of those nights. But then what you just said was so profound. You said that maybe if I didn't meet them, because the first thing we want to, take them away, get them away. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? But you said that if I didn't meet them, maybe I wouldn't have learned what I needed to learn. That is so profound to me. Like now I feel a different way. I'm coming out different. Came in one way, now I'm coming out different. Because you know what? It's not always about us all the time, and
Right.
maybe I needed to learn.
Oh yeah.
But those poor decisions, sometimes I'll be thinking that people gonna change, and when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, then you won't be all hurt up, Laren.
That's true. That's so
You
true.
won't feel a certain way. But all right, we here
Yeah.
now. Let's get into this money hacks because we've been having some great conversations from this. 1 to 275. I know. I remember we did one before.
Yes.
I know that for sure. What number you got tonight?
Try 65.
All right, 65, which is the age that we used to be able to retire, but not anymore.
You can't. I'm already retired, so you can't.
Listen, I just don't want it to be 75. Can it just be? I think it's 72 or something. I don't
Is
know.
it
But by the
that?
time I
Is
get
it that?
ready,
Oh wow, man!
I think
I
that
thought
I
it was
think they just
67.
moved it up. It might be 70 now. I might
Ooh,
be
yeah,
exaggerating, but
yeah, you know.
I'm
Okay.
sure it's 70. And if it ain't 70 today, it'll be
Yeah,
70
thank God,
eventually.
man. That I went on and retired, man. Hey.
Hack number 65 says buy refurbished electronics. Do you want the latest, greatest version of the smartphone or other tech devices, but don't want to pay full price? You can save 50 to $100 or more by picking out ones that's refurbished. Refurbished items typically come from one or two places, someone who owned it and used the item and sold it to a retailer or reseller, someone who brought the item, opened up the box, changed their mind, and returned it. In the latter case, the retailer can't advertise the item as new. They list it as an open box item and offer a steep discount to unload the product. Refurbished items are reviewed in detail by the parties reselling them, and they get restored to factory settings before getting listed for sale. Or refurbished electronics legit? You can usually trust a refurbished item you see advertised by a major electronic maker. Some retailers that sell various products also offer an outlet section of their website where they list open box and refurbished items. These sections are always changing, so it's worth checking repeatedly or setting up alerts. You'll also want to check prices for e-commerce resellers. As with all purchases, do your research, comparison shop, and make sure any make sure any refurbished items you consider matching the okay, I've really stumbled on that. As you, as with all purchases, do your research, comparison shop, and make sure any refurbished items you consider matches the specifications like screen size, amount of memory, etc., etc. All right. So what do you think about buying refurbished electronics? Have you ever done that?
Yes, I did. When I was going to ITT, I bought me a refurbished computer, but I went to I guess you can call it mom and pop store, and
Mm-hmm.
I bought it, and then I had to take it back. And
Mm.
I talked to the guy,
See?
and he was. I said, hold up, dude. I said, man, first of all, I'm at ITT right now. And then he said, "Okay, let's get you another one," just like that. Because if you don't know what you're talking about, they will talk you into
Uh-huh.
keeping that, and they give you so many days to return it. So when I told him what was going on, and then he kind of like, okay, he changed his tune, and he kind of like he went on, and I did get it. I used it, until I couldn't use it no more. And then I gave it to one of my sons because he wanted it. Because I told him I
Mm,
was gonna throw it away. He said, "No, no, Dad, bring it over here." I said, "Okay." So I cleaned it up the best that I could for him, and he kept
mm-hmm.
it. He kept it. Let me see. I used it for 2 years at ITT, and he kept it for another 2 or 3 years. But you know, I always say there's nothing wrong with buying refurbished, electronics, but you got to know who you buying them from.
Oh, see, there you go. That's a good point right there. You summed it up right there. You got to know who you buying it from.
Cause I remember, hey man, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when people used to sell stuff. They have a truck, and they used to sell TVs and computers and all that.
I remember that
And
back in
people
the
used to
day.
go up,
Uh-huh.
grab the boxes, pay for it, leave, and get home. When
Yep,
they get
yep.
home, it was a box of rocks in there.
The TV wasn't even
The
in there.
TV frame was in there, but it was filled. The back end was filled with rocks.
Oh, I remember that in the hood. Those little vans that they were box
Yes,
vans.
yes.
That's
And the
crazy.
computers, when they get there, if you didn't know what you was doing, because and I always said never, it's kind of hard, but never buy as is. Always, at least if they give you 30 days, you have 30 days to test it out. And if they
Mm,
don't give you no 30 days to test it out, don't get it because you know what? Something gonna go wrong with it for sure. And then you're
wow,
you're out, then
that's
that
crazy.
means you gotta pay top dollars just to get it fixed.
Mm.
So
Well, speaking from an IT professional, I don't know anything about all of this technical stuff. I'm gonna share with you. You said you owned your last computer for about what you said 2 or 3 years before you gave it to
yes.
your son. Okay, so don't judge me, but there's a reason why I had to do an upgrade because I had my computer for like 10
Yeah.
years.
I ain't
I
judging. Oh
had it
no,
for
no, no,
10 years.
no. Hey, man.
So,
I don't judge you because my computers now, I keep them as long as I can. And whenever I need an upgrade, and that's another thing. If you buy a computer, always keep it upgraded. You keep because times
see, I
change.
never did
But then just like cell phones, especially iPhones, when they come out with a new phone, that means that old phone you have is getting ready to go out completely.
that. Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
have a friend in Austin. She has a computer, and she told me, she said, "Oh, I'm still using Windows 7." And I'm like, "How? Windows 7 doesn't even exist."
That would have been somebody like me. Yep, I get
But
it.
I
That
understand
would have been
she's older.
somebody
She's
like
older. She said, "Well, I'm 83 years old. I don't know no better." I said, "No, no, no." So I said, "Don't worry about it. Somebody just didn't talk to you." But a lot of people, that's when upgrades, and I found this out not too long ago, because, every once in a while you see where, oh, I got to do an upgrade in my computer, or I got to do an upgrade on my
hmm
phone. What I found out, reason why it was that is somebody said, "Hey, there was a problem with my computer or my phone," and the technician went in there to fix it. When they repaired it, they sent upgrade. They said, "Okay, everybody need to upgrade because now if you don't, you're gonna have this same issue that this person had."
Mm.
So, and whenever you see it says upgrade, go ahead and upgrade it. That's all. I mean, I have a
Well,
computer. I have a computer in there. It's the one I travel with, and I've had that for like 7 or 8 years. And hey, man, it's and because I still have a video program on that I have had no issues with, but I can't get that video program on there on my newer computers because Microsoft took all the protection off. So if you do download it on your computer, you may do damage to your computer. So I had to end up buying, I wanted to do videos. I said, okay, it's worth it. So I had to end up buying a program, and that's what I got on my other computer. But I have two different video program. I had one on the little mini computer that I travel with, and I have one on the big computer that I have on my laptop out here in the living room. So, but like I said, if you buy something refurbished, if they give you a 30-day warranty, hey, trust me, you need to use it. Use it to find out. And if you have any issues, just take it back and. But if it says as is, oh, that's on you there.
Well,
that's on you. That's just like buying a car.
Well,
it's just like buying a car, and the car said as is. Okay, as is means there's something wrong with it, but no one's gonna tell you how long it's gonna take to fix it.
Oh, yeah. As is, there's something wrong with it, but they ain't gonna tell you how long it's gonna take to fix it. Wow.
It may be there's gonna be something wrong with it. That's why they say as is, so that you can't come back on them and try to sue them or exchange. So therefore, that's why I always say, hey, man, get a warranty, even if it's just a 30-day warranty. 30 days is good enough. You can find out if it's something wrong within 30 days.
Well, I am not going to endorse this specific retailer, but it is a specific retailer that pretty much is the only one around that sells electronics that I know. Because growing up, before there was Circuit City, there was all of these other places. So I just want y'all to think. I'm not going to say their name, but I have to say that I absolutely love them because I walked in there knowing that I needed to do an upgrade on my computer system. Like, it was done. Like, if I didn't go in there, there would be no reading between the wines 411 podcast. So I said, I'm going in there to spend some money. So it's different when you know you got to go in there and spend some money. They must have just sensed it. But I said, yeah, I need some help. And they hooked me up with this dude named Muhammad. And I was just going to go basically, I'm going to speed this story up so I don't stay on this because I don't know y'all really don't care about this. But I was basically going to go to what I was familiar with, which was a Chromebook. And he schooled me and said, no, you don't want that. Let me hook you up with this and let me tell you why. And then we did experience the refurbished aspect of it too. But for $20 more, you just get brand new. So I just said, let me just get brand new. But that retailer hooked me up from the mouse to the this to the that to everything.
Oh
yeah. You gotta know who you're buying from, like you said. And I'm absolutely pleased. The show is being recorded on new equipment, and it's just amazing. It's quicker. It's. I learned my lesson about upgrading when you're supposed to. Trust and believe me. Yes, I learned it. All right. So, we got an assignment to do. This is Wind Down Wednesday for people who are joining in, watching the replays. I've noticed that we have been gaining some more traction in some new places, so I might be repeating myself for those who are around. But this is for the new folks. Welcome in. Thank you so much. So, Wind Down Wednesday is where we wind down, sample some wine, have a few laughs, but we don't neglect or forget that there's work to do when it comes to the financial, the spiritual, the mental, the physical aspect of what we need to do to become the greatest version of ourselves. So we have a letter here tonight. And again, if you want to write in and let us know how you feel about tonight's show, or maybe you want us to dissect something that you have going on in your world, please feel free to email me at info@larengaines.com. So I'm going to go ahead and dig into tonight's assignment, and author Birdman313 is going to give me his expertise as well as far as what he feels about this. So Birdman, we in Texas tonight.
Yeah, I seen that.
Shout out to everybody in Texas. All right. So, dear Reading Between the Wines, I've been with my boyfriend for almost 3 years. Spiritually, I know that God is not pleased with our relationship. Mentally, I'm exhausted from carrying the weight of his bad decisions. Physically, I've gained stress because, physically, I've gained stress weight because I drink every night just to cope. And financially, let's just say I'm in $12,000 of credit card debt because I kept covering his bills when he fell short. I feel guilty because my church friends remind me that I should be focusing on building myself up, not dragging myself down with him. At the same time, I love him and feel like walking away would make me the bad guy. So here's my question: how do I stop making poor decisions with my love life, my faith, and my finances before I lose myself completely? This is a deep letter. I'm going to take it. It's short, but it's deep. I'm going to take it right to the top. Dear Reading Between the Wines, I've been with my boyfriend for almost 3 years. Spiritually, I know God is not pleased with our relationship. Mentally, I'm exhausted from carrying the weight of his bad decisions. Physically, I've gained stress weight because I drink every night just to cope. And financially, let's just say I'm in $12,000 of credit card debt because I keep covering his bills when he fell short. I feel guilty because my church friends remind me that I should be focused on building myself up, not dragging myself down with him. At the same time, I love him and I feel like walking away the bad guy. So, here's my question: how do I stop making poor decisions with my love life, my faith, and my finances before I lose myself completely? Well, before I turn it over to Birdman 313, Miss Jasmine from Houston, Texas, if you leave him, it's not going to make you the bad guy. If you were thinking that it would make you anything, it might make you the bad girl, but we think otherwise. Birdman 313. Go
Wow.
ahead.
Hey, you know what? I had a hard part with the top part. Spiritually, I know God is not pleased with our relationship. I had a hard part with that because no one's perfect
Mm-hmm.
and we all make mistakes. And I'm, because you know, if long she's asking for forgiveness, she shouldn't worry about. Man, I hope I don't say this wrong. People take it wrong. Um, I always feel like if you say a prayer and ask for forgiveness, that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You done your part, and He will do His part. And
I like
the
that.
mentality, the mentality of being exhausted of carrying the weight, she has chose to do that. A lot of our bad decisions, and I'm speaking about because I know I have,
Mm-hmm.
is that we choose to do it. Because I
Mm.
mean, it's like, I hear people say, and this is the hardest thing. Walking out the door is the hardest thing you can do because don't nobody really know, really how deep everything is. And as far as her helping him with his bills, I think we all have had issues with that. And in a situation like that, he needs to choose which bills are more important than the other, or he just need to cut back on his bills altogether.
Ooh, you going deep tonight. You going deep tonight. We
I
going
mean, it's one or the other, because I remember when I first got here, I had I had my bills, I had it under control, and I can say reason why I can say I had them under control because I was paying not just the minimum, but I was paying a little bit more than the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So I had everything under control, but I let a lot of stuff. I just say, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. When I get myself back financially able, maybe I can go back and pick all of that up. Actually, I had to do that recently where there was things is what's more important.
Huh.
you know,
You, you,
what's more important, this here or this here?
I want to pause. I don't mean to interject, but
Oh no, 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 no problem.
you just hit a point there. In my studies of being a retail manager, whenever we had meetings, they always said, when you're running your establishment, you have to figure out what is critical versus important. You can't just be all over the place doing what is critical versus what is important. So that just reminded me of that. I just wanted to throw that in there when you said about figuring out what is critical versus important. Critical is, if you don't do this, this is life or death situation.
Yeah, and then
Okay, go ahead. I'm
she
done.
said her church friends. Mm, to me, I say she tells her church friends too much. I'm sorry for that, but she's telling her church friends too much because they don't. I mean, yes, he may be dragging her down, but still, that's a decision she have to make. Because I tell anybody, I tell my kids all the time, if they ask me about certain situations, I said, okay, I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you what. I'm just gonna give you an outline of it, and but you have to make your own decision because if I say do this and you do it and it goes bad for you, you ain't gonna be coming back and say, Dad, I listened to you and this is what happened. And I have a lot.
Uh,
Even right now, there's a lady in Austin. She's publishing a book, and I've been trying to help her out, but then I had to back away because she was bringing other people into it, telling me what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, hold up, cause see, the people she was bringing in, I am good friends with, and you know, I said, nah, I can't do this. I can't get in the middle. And I told her, I said, you need to talk to them. I said, but I know you need somebody to talk to. And she sent me a text and said, you know what? She said, I was about to cry until I talked to you. And you told me I need to talk to them. And she said, and I understand why you have much respect for them. I said, yes, I do. And I said, I don't get in nobody else's business. I said, now I'll help you get your poetry book up and you know, and all that. I said, but when you start talking about other people,
oh,
I can't deal with that,
mhm.
you know, because I've done a lot of open, matter of fact, the people she was talking about, we were doing an event this weekend together. And I shot their videos. So you don't know, I can't get in the middle of that. you know, not at
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
you know, and you know, it's a bad situation, and it was simple, but she kind of made it bad because we all did a radio station. What it was, we did a radio station together, and she waited to a year later to ask for the copy, and I told her, I said, "You right there in the same city. I said, all you do is just contact Google the contact. I'm at the radio station, and you could have got the link to the program." I say, I have a link. I don't know if it's any good, but it wasn't no good. And she was telling me about how that. I said, ooh, I
Mm.
said, okay then. So I backed away. But she listening to her church friends, man. You
Hmm.
know, I don't have nothing against the churches, but you know what? you know what, man? Hey, I I'm one to stay away from church. I don't. I shouldn't say it. I don't get. I don't. I try not to get too much advice from church people. I don't try to. I try not to tell them too much of my personal business because everybody is different. You know, she may be telling these women this stuff, and one of the women in there may say, "Ooh, I want that man. Let me tell her this and tell her that so she can leave him so I can get with him." And stuff like that happens, man.
Can I
You
interject?
can go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I normally don't do this, but you must just be the Chardonnay wine. But I'm looking at something as you're telling me this that says 5 things to keep quiet: your fears, your income, your love life, your big plans, and your family issues. 5 things to keep quiet. Everybody, just listen to this: your fears, your income, your love life, your big plans, and your family issues. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, okay, no problem, no problem. Is because this is your show, I'm just saying, anytime you want to interject, help me out, I but and then she says she's drinking wine every day. And that's one of her issues right there. Drinking the wine
Yes.
and one thing a man don't like, he don't like a drunk woman. I mean, some men might, but a lot of upstanding. I shouldn't say it like that because that may be
No, no. I mean, no. I
a lot
mean,
of upstanding,
call it like you
a,
call
a,
it.
a lot of upstanding guys that want something in life. Put it like that. Those who want something
Hmm,
don't want a drunk woman around them all the time. And,
hmm.
because sooner or later she gonna get you know her health, it will start going bad, and she's gonna get lazy, and she's gonna, and I shouldn't say just she, but anybody that's man or woman that's drinking every day, you know
Yeah, that's too
it's
much.
too much because you have that issue there. You drink till you pass out, and then when you wake up, guess what? That issue is still there.
Absolutely. You running from something, but you running from it the wrong way.
Exactly.
You covering actually you're not even running from it. You're just covering it up.
And I always, I tell people, I say ain't nothing wrong. I miss. There was a time, hey, I used to drink, but I had my priorities. I mean, I didn't let drinking just take over what I was trying to
Mm,
do. Like I said, I've
hmm.
always want, after a certain age, I came to be, and I kept finding myself hanging around writers and musicians, and I couldn't, I'm like, okay, maybe this is who I supposed to be around, writers and musicians. So I always found myself around them. When I got around other people that wasn't into being a musician or a writer, I didn't feel comfortable with them because I didn't know what to say.
Mm.
And so like I decided, I said, you know what? I'm gonna put this drink down. Don't get me wrong, because like I said, man, there used to be a time I'd smoke a joint, fix me a drink, but I would write. I never got away from writing. And when people ask me how long I've been writing, I said I've been writing ever since the fourth grade. And that was
Mm.
that was just something that I enjoy to do. Musician, I said, hey, that was something that, like I said, I was 5 years old when my dad started me playing the drums. So all my life I've been, music has been a thing to me. So I've always kept those two things close to me. Sports is another thing I kept close to me. You know, and I always, drinking was always okay. And then it just got to a point where one day I just said, you know what? I'm gonna put all my energy into writing and trying to play music or promote music. And I pushed it. Like I said, I just said I don't want to drink no more because I start feeling bloated all the time. I was drinking beer, and I can say is it wasn't easy. And I tell my kid, I said, boy, I said, hey, it wasn't easy, man. I said, I walk into the store, it was like the beers, they were standing up saying, come on and get me. He done finna get me. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And it had got to the point where, because when you walk into a store, most convenience stores, what's at the front, right at the door? Beer. I know it is here in Texas. That's the way it is. They got a little cooler up front that have beer in it. I used to have to turn my head and look the opposite way. I did that for a while until now I can walk in, I can look at beer and just keep going.
Oh wow, wow. Mm.
And I would, this lady, what her name, Jasmine, I'd like to tell her she's gonna have to make a decision. She got a lot of decisions to make. And her credit card debt, that has destroyed a whole lot of people.
And
And
continues.
yeah, and the fact that he can't keep up with his bills, she just needs to sit there. She needs to tell him there's something you're gonna have to give up, so we can get all these bills down if you want me to stay. And see, long as she's paying, he's gonna keep on just, he gonna keep on piling up, piling up, piling up. But if
Wow.
she go ahead and just say, look, this is it, you're gonna have to learn to take care of your own bills. Hey, you know what? Eventually he will get the message, or she just gonna have to walk out the door. That's it. And I know it's not. It's easy for me to say that, but I've been through it where I had to walk out the door. And once I walked out the door, man, for a couple weeks, I was like, oh man, and I was questioning myself. And then about that third week, I was like, oh man, I made the best decision I could have made.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. It's a scary thing. When you don't know who you are, it's a scary thing. And you don't know what to do, and your confidence level is not where it needs to be because you have lost yourself. And yes, it's a scary thing. And the first part, like I keep saying, it's a scary thing. You're gonna be scared as hell. But then after about maybe a week or two, things just get so much better, and you just keep praying and you just keep pushing and you just keep moving. And before you know it, I remember my mentor telling me in 2020, she said, Laren, I know that it's hard for you, but she says, I want you to think about every disrespectful, downright dirty thing that happened to you during this process. Help you get over this situation and stop you from going back, because sometimes we go back because our subconscious mind tricks us to going back to what's comfortable. Okay. So what we've been doing for so many years, whether it be right or it be wrong, we start to become accustomed to it. So if you are used to somebody treating you like dirt, when you get around somebody that treats you with respect, you're going to be like, oh, something's wrong because I'm used to somebody treating me terrible. So let me go back to what's comfortable. Somebody treating you terrible. So, but she did give me that advice. And all I have to say is that I'm still here today because
Yeah.
I did just that. Wow.
That is true. Because, like I said, my parents, like I said, they used to say, but it's the way they said it to me. And then I'm, like today, I'm like, man, I'm glad my dad talked to me the way he did, because you know what, he didn't talk. He talked, and the way he said it, it was like, I'm like, man, why is he disrespect? Why he think I'm this and that? And actually I was. Actually I was. I mean, I didn't see what he saw or what my mother saw.
Right.
You know, um, that's all of us. That's just something that all of us has to deal with. And like I said, she's thinking God is not mad at her. I mean, I just say that she needs to, keep praying. If she is not praying, but she says she go to church, she just need to ask for forgiveness. Cause like I said, we all sin, we all do wrong. I still do. And my life has been really good, really good. But I do dumb things till the day. I do some dumb, stupid things, knowing it's wrong. But I don't tell nobody. I just
I
told
feel
y'all,
you.
but I don't tell nobody this, you know.
I feel you.
And I just now I keep it. I'm like, well, I'll stop myself from doing something dumb, you know. I will stop myself from it. And I'm like, oh, and I was like, it's wrong. So why you gonna do it?
I'm we going in deep tonight. Can I tell you that 2025 has been just that? 2025 has been like a upgrade to my spiritual awakening to where better. You know better, Larry, but why do the same thing over and over again? Like better. So I get it.
Yeah,
I feel you on that. And a lot of the suffering and a lot of the pain, just like this letter here tonight, we do it to ourselves. I feel for the people who don't know better, but it's even worse when you know better, but you do it anyway.
yes,
It's like, all right,
yeah.
you know better, so why do you do it? So, and even though it
And
might be,
the reason why they do it, because after the outcome, they sit back and it was like, I should have known not to do it, but I did. And I've heard some people say, "Oh, well, I knew I shouldn't have did it from the very beginning, but I went on and did it anyway because I thought it'd be a different outcome." And I'm like,
no, mm-mm.
and then I tell them, did I? Yeah, I just say, "Hey, have you listened to what you just said?" you know, um,
that that that's a pure definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
exactly.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. So and like I said, the beginning of this kind of got me. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to speak on that too often. And then I said, if I could tell her, like I tell people, I went to a Methodist college. Man, if you knew what was happening at the Methodist college, my parents said, we don't want you to go to no tradition. We want you to go to a religious college because
Huh.
it's none of this and that and going on. And I'm like, okay. So I said, I just, and then at that point, I was like, I just wanted to get out of my hometown. I wanted to do better for myself. And I knew staying there, it was going to be, and people used to always say, there's only two places that you're going to end up if you stay here. That's jail or the graveyard. And so I went I
Mm,
went I
mm.
went to I did I went to a religious college. And I never forget, man. I used to go home every weekend. My dad made a comment. He said, "Give us a chance to miss you." And I looked at him. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, give us a chance. Every weekend you home." I'm like, "Okay, then, okay, And so I quit coming home, and then I started staying on campus on the weekend. Start meeting a lot of people, and I never forget. I'm like, man, I know you can't smoke and drink and can't have girls in the room. I said, maybe this is what I need. And dude, 2 weeks later, I was invited to this party. And I'm like, and the guy said, oh, he said, come on, man, we just gonna go hang out down here. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I ain't had nothing to do. So I ride with him and his brother. We get there, they open up the trailer, and what I'm like, man, all the weed smoke hitting. I'm like, is that what I smell it is? I'm like, ooh wee, I'm in the right, I'm in the right. and,
Mm.
and then And the females, they was asking me to dance. I didn't have to ask nobody. I'm like, oh dang. I said, man,
So
huh?
they wasn't singing hymns
Oh,
and reciting
no, no,
scriptures.
no, no. They was I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I come to the right school.
I'm telling you. Oh, I'm wait. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do my part, and I'm gonna let you know.
Oh
This
no,
is
man,
why. This is why when it.
but
This is.
I
Go
realized
ahead.
in being there, I did learn a lot. I started learning a lot about life in general. I learned a lot that everybody make mistakes, everybody sin, but you got to ask for forgiveness. You ask for forgiveness, you know, even though and it don't happen overnight. I had to remind myself, whatever it is, it doesn't happen
Mm,
overnight. It takes time.
exactly. And in the process, just keep asking for forgiveness, keep forgiving people over and over and over again until it clicks. Because it, you can't just say, "Oh, I forgive." Because I did that in the beginning. In 2020, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgive," but I don't think it really started to click and sink in until about maybe 2022. I started to feel different, and then every year after, I feel better and better and better.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this is deep tonight. I enjoyed this conversation. First of all, I want to let everybody know that I came in here a little amped up. I came into this session amped up, and I know that I have to come here. I dug into a personal space, and I came in a little amped up. But Birdman, you helped me out. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna take this letter, and now we're gonna help somebody else
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So she says that I've been with my boyfriend for almost 3 years. Now I'm gonna stop it right there. When you've been with somebody for 3 years, you already know what the game is. Now I had a conversation with somebody who said that they were in a relationship for 7 years and they still kept trying to make it work. You're going to learn about a person, and I have to keep repeating this over and over again. You're going to learn great details about a person within the first 30 days. It does not take 3 years to find out who somebody really is. And when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them.
That's okay. Yeah. You said that what I was trying to tell you saying that's what I was saying when I said she's gonna have to just say, I'm done with helping you with your bills. You got to do this on your own. You got to choose which ones you want, which ones is important to you. If all of them is important, more important, then hey, it's time for her to make that decision and get on away from there. Because if it's putting her in
Mm.
debt, putting in making her drink, making her gain weight, that's not
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
that's
ooh.
not good.
Now, as I get into the second part of it, what you just said just opened up another door. So if someone is drowning, they say don't jump in the water and save them because now both of y'all gonna be in jeopardy because this person is kicking and flailing and could knock you out, could overtake you, and now you both are gonna drown. So when it comes to people paying bills for people and doing stuff for people and trying to pull people up, trying to make other people happy, trying to make what they want them to be first, because if you are not fully 100% and you're not in a position to take care of somebody else, now both of y'all out there in the ocean drowning. Now I know it sounds harsh and it sounds critical and it's probably not the right thing to say, but I'm gonna say it. But why should two perish when just one can? I know that sounds rough and it's not right, but it's reality. Why should two perish when just one can? Help yourself before you try to help somebody else. Now, the next line says, spiritually, I know that God is not pleased with our relationship. Now, if you know full well that God is not pleased with your relationship because don't nobody else know what goes on between you and your spiritual world except for you and God, the letter can be over right here. Spiritually, I know that God is not pleased with our relationship. So then I know, Birdman, we talked about it like we do things that we know are not right. We do it anyway because we think, and it's called Luke dancing with the devil, is called whatever they want to call it. But I know that God is a jealous God. So if anybody is out there listening, Shout out to the people on D Live. Thank y'all so much. But God is a jealous God, so you have to be very careful about putting people, places, and materialistic things before God. I'm just saying. I've done it
That's true.
before. I've done it before, and trust and believe. That's why we here on the podcast, because I've done it before.
Yeah. Oh, that and that's why I said, even though you sit back now because you're in a better place, and you say, "Oh, I made many mistakes in the past," but see, that was learning. You learned that, and you've moved on.
Yes. Now here we go again. Mentally, I'm exhausted from carrying decisions. Now, that's a problem. Mentally, I'm exhausted from carrying the weight of his bad decisions. They're not yours, they're his. So you're carrying somebody else's stuff. That's a problem. If you can't carry your own weight, why would you sign up for carrying somebody else's? Or if you don't have any issues, everything is great. You get up, your life is wonderful, but every time you interact with this person, every time you pick up the phone and talk to this person, every time you go to this location, you start to feel a heavy burden. You got to think about that. For me
Yeah.
personally, for me personally, sometimes that's what gets me tripped up when it comes to getting into a relationship with somebody, because do I want to carry somebody else's baggage? Like, you got to be aligned with me spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially, because I don't want to carry on an extra burden of something that I'm not in a position to carry right now today, because I'm getting myself together. I don't think I have time to carry somebody. Mm,
It just sounds like her. She had low self esteem, first of all, because, like you said, she you know, put in perspective. She's helping this guy out constantly. Then, he doesn't respect her enough to say, "Hey, I need to help myself. I don't need to depend on her. I need to depend on myself, so I can, so we both can help each other out."
mm.
And that's a lot of people wonder why so many relationships split up, and a lot of them think it's over. One of them was cheating, but really it's not. It's because one of them has a spending habit and the other one doesn't, and they don't. And the one that has the spending habit don't seem to respect the one who doesn't.
Huh.
And he
The
always
number
they
one
always
reason.
they always looking for that person to bail them out. And I just told my son that, I think, I know him and we talk almost every day, and I told him that not too long ago. I said, "Hey man, that's why I said I always kept a job, no matter what it paid or what it did." I said, because you know what? I said, I never wanted somebody to wait on somebody to give me something. Because when you wait on somebody to give you something, and then when they don't, you're disappointed, and then you go to freaking out on them, because it things
Yeah.
things come up for that person there where what they, and they probably meant to give it to you, but something came up and they couldn't. Now you want to freak out on that person because they can't give it to you.
Wow. You just struck something in me as well, and I'm gonna bring this up here. You talked about the reason why people break up. I'm gonna let y'all know the reason why people break up and end in divorce. Number one, lack of commitment. Two, infidelity. That's number two. Number three, constant conflict and poor communication. I think that should be number one, but number four, financial problems. So it made the top five. No coincidence. She says, physically, I've gained stress weight because I drink every night to cope. Now, that's a problem. Now, if you're in a relationship and it is not adding value to you and it's tearing you down and it's taking away from you, that's called a liability. Anything that adds to you, shout out to Lettucey. She has a song called Add to Me. I think y'all should listen to this. Speaking of this line right here in this letter, she has a song called Add to Me. Lettucey asks, how can you add to me? What value are you going to bring to this relationship? Because I don't need anybody to tear me down. I don't need anybody to deplete me. I don't need anybody to subtract, divide, make me feel different about myself because I've already done that. Why would you sign up for a relationship to where you have to take on the burden of your physical health just to be okay, just to say I'm in a relationship? Oh, okay, I'm in a relationship, so now I got to drink every night just to cope with this fool because otherwise we're going to be going back and forth. But it's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and drink, or I'm going to go ahead and smoke, or I'm going to go ahead and spend, or I'm going to go ahead and eat. It she's talking about drinking, but there's other things that people do just to cope with a
That's
relationship.
true.
Or how about this? Some people say, "Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and cheat." Come on now. And then financially, worth in debt. That's not no. That's not $1,200 in debt. That's $12,000 in debt.
No joke. Yeah, yeah. That's that now that there. That's a steep bit. That ain't like a drop it. Well, for some of us, it's not a drop in the bucket thing.
And
And
because
it's gonna take her many years to. It's gonna take her many years to pay that off. It's not gonna go away overnight. And
bec-
all the things that she's saying that's going on, I mean, she's lucky if she can just make minimum payment because she taking care of his and the way she put it, his bills. She got an S on it, so it ain't just one bill.
listen, that $12,000 that struck a chord in me because she said because he fell short. Well, your homeboy here paid $13,000 because I thought that I was in love. Now, let me tell you,
Woo.
there's a thin line between love and hate, but I took on somebody's $13,000 worth of debt because I thought that that was love. But when there's a thin line between love and hate, and they turn around and do that 180 on you, you start to feel a certain way about it. So I get you, Jasmine, but listen, let me tell you, you better hope they don't do that 180 on you because you're gonna feel a certain way. And I just chalk it up
Yeah,
today. Today, listen, today I chalk it up to doing God's work, but before, nah. And then when I dig through these scriptures, he clearly tells us that we shouldn't be taking on anybody else's debt.
exactly.
I thought I
And,
was doing God's work, but what was I doing? Who was I working for when I was taking care of somebody else's debt?
and wow, that's funny you say it like that because and I say because nobody really know me on here except for my son. you know, and, and he know when I say who, he'll know who I'm talking about. But when I came out of college, I had debt and didn't even know it,
Ooh.
and it was my first marriage. Didn't even know it, and then I don't know. It had she was, and then what it was, she was so slick about it. She was getting the mail, and then she was, oh, I'm paying on this. I'm paying on this. I'm like, okay, then not paying attention because young and dumb, full of cum, And I was like, then I was like in the weight room, exercising a lot, playing ball a lot because I wanted to play ball, and I even let my writing slide for a minute, but I kept my music up, and we moved down here. And I thought everything was going smooth. And one day I tried, her and I got into it, and I found out something. I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with this. So I tried to go get an apartment. And when I first moved out here, apartments was so hard to get into. Woo, they were so hard. And when they came back and they told me the reason why, and I'm like, that's impossible. So I get home and they looking at me. I'm like, man, I can't believe this, man. I said, hey, I couldn't get in. I don't know why. Then I get a phone call, and it was I had I had a credit card with Sears, and you can't. What can you do with a Sears and a JC Penney card and a golf, cat? And I'm like, why is y'all calling me? And they said, because you owe us, you know. And I'm
Mm.
like, owe you what? And so then it was a Sears right around the corner. I said something ain't right here. So I actually went up into the financial office, and the lady, we was sitting there talking, and she was telling me, oh, what was being charged to my card. And I'm like, how? And then she said, I don't know. And then she said, you know what? She said, you know how I know you telling the truth? I said, how is that? She said, how long you been down here? And I told her, I gave her the date I moved down here and everything. I said, I've been working for this company here. And then she said, yeah, we just got a bill from your credit card. Yes, it was 3 days ago. I said, from where? And she told me. And I'm like, no, man. I said, this can't be. I'm here. And she said, I see you here.
Mm.
I went home, and my dad used to say, ain't gonna be no arguing up in here. I said, okay. I said, you gonna tell, and she wouldn't come outside. I was so mad. My dad was like, let's go to Jack in the Box. Like that. And I'm like, for what? I don't want to go in Jack in the Box. He said, no, I need to talk to you. So I said, okay then. No matter, I don't care. My dad was 80 years old. I was still scared of him.
I know that's right.
I respected him. Just like my mom. My mom lived to be 97. I still respected them. And my mom said, go with your dad. Let your dad talk to you. Cool off. I'm going to talk to her. And so I went with my dad. We talked. And then when I come back, I'm like, you okay then? And I wouldn't argue with her. I didn't even speak to her like for about 3 weeks. We in the same house. And I refused to talk to her. And I just started going to work. And so I called Sears, I called JC Penney, I called Exxon, and told them, hey, just cut the credit cards up. I'll work something out. Which I did. And that's when I realized. And then my mom, then she pulled me aside and she said, oh, but the covers is getting ready to come off a whole lot of things.
Ooh.
It's like that. And I'm like, you okay? And as time went on, I start realizing this. And I'm like, man, I tell people to this day, I said, I made the biggest mistake in my life. I said, I made mistakes and I got over. But that was one mistake. Getting married, I would never, ever get over. Because I got warned. I got warned by so many people. And you want to hear the crazy part about all that? One of the persons that warned me is married to her now.
Oh, okay. Well, he was letting you know.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's his issue now. And
yeah,
and I said, ever since I got away from her, I got back into writing. My writing came then.
That's a good point that you said too, especially with this woman here who's trying to get away from something and don't know in 3 years. When somebody walks away, when it doesn't work, and they get somebody else and they think that they're like flexing or they think that they like trying to show you up, I'd be laughing. I'd be like, thank God you took this person off of my hands. Now I ain't got to worry about it. You did me a favor. Like you did me such a beautiful favor. And I'm so happy because if you didn't show up, I'd still be stuck.
Hey, man, see, you said it nicely.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Her second husband, he jumped on the phone, went to talking stuff, threatening me. And I told him, I said, look, man, I'm not gonna argue with you on her. I said, you with her, you happy. I said, man, I'm at my own place. I don't have to look at her every day. I said, but always remember that this. And he said, what's that? I said, she was my B before she was yours. Now you the one got the issue. And boy, he said, I'm coming to hunt you down. I said, yeah. I said, tell you what, you come and hunt me down? I said, trust me, dude. I said, next time anybody see you, you gonna be laying slap out. I said, cause I'm gonna be watching now.
I gotta take it there. So my girl Mary J. Blige, shout out to the Queen of Hip Hop Soul. She has a song that was not released. It's an unreleased record called Your Problems. And she's basically
Yeah,
letting you know that if you want my problems, go ahead. Like, thank you for taking this person off of my hands because now that's your problem. Basically what you were saying, now that's your problem.
yeah.
And the same way you got that person is the same way you're gonna lose them. So whatever they did to get into your good graces, however they like, you know what they did to get there. Trust and believe that you're gonna have to deal with that problem too. It's
And
all
guess
good.
what? That's exactly what happened.
If you want my
And
problem,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
then yeah, and then finally, then what happened was, I mean, he passed away now, but the problems got so bad that he had a heart attack.
See, because I've
And I'm like, wow, man. But like I told him, I said, you think you got your queen, but hey, really? Oh boy, but you're gonna learn. But and
you
then for a long time, they didn't even. They was like, is he even still in Texas? Because no one, it got to the point where she wouldn't let me see the kids. I wasn't gonna argue with her. I'm like, okay, then, I said when they get old enough, they'll know, what's up.
exactly.
And I stayed away. And they was asking them. They said, um, you talk to your dad, and yeah, we talked to him. Where is he at? I don't know. Said, but I just know that we talked to him, and I told him, don't tell your mom where I'm at. I was still right here in Houston, but I was, I just told him, I say, man, I just need some time away to think to get things back together,
Mm,
and that was the best time. And then things start turning over. Like I said, my writing was getting better, and it's still, I still say it's improving from what it used to be. I'm getting better as a person, I can say that. And my temper is not like it used to be. That done cooled down a whole
I
lot.
I know that's right. This- the same for
you
both
know
of us.
yeah, and see, she's gonna end up doing, and I don't like to say, I don't like to use words, something stupid, but she's gonna do something that she's gonna regret that she didn't have to do, because she gonna snap one day. She gonna snap one day because of all this pressure that she's under.
Mm,
And you know and then the first thing they gonna say is, her church went friends is they gonna say, well, we tried to tell her. And sometimes
well,
sometimes you gotta let a person see it and
mhm,
leave them alone and let them work it out and figure it out,
mm,
instead of telling somebody. And I've learned that too, that like with my kid, like my boys, whatever they do, that's on them. And I tell them, hey man, just don't bring it
mm,
around me. That's on you.
hmm.
And sometimes, and that's something I learned. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is because it was drilled in me from my parents. My mom said, she said, I can talk till I turn bald headed, or turn my head turn gray.
What?
And she said, you won't listen. And then, and she'll say, but I'm gonna stop talking to you. I'm gonna let you figure it out. Don't come with me with none of your issues or problems.
You that's so funny. You know what my mom used to say? What her favorite line is, and it used to get on my nerves so bad. She'd be like, "Boy, the more that I teach you, the dumber I get."
Yes, my
Oh my
dad.
God. I could not
Ooh,
stand that. I could not stand that line. She'd be like,
my
"The more."
dad. Oh, my dad used to say it to me and my sister. The more I talk to you, the dumber. I'm like, oh man,
I could not take it.
yeah,
I could not take it as a kid. That would like just crush your soul as a
yeah,
kid. But I get it today.
yeah,
I it's the same things that we know today as we go through our spiritual awakening. Our parents knew, but like a quote that I said, back in 2022 or something like that. I said my message was clear, but my delivery was horrible. So like what our parents was telling us, it was clear, but the way sometimes they gave it to us, the language, the vocabulary just
yeah,
wasn't, what it should be. But it is what it is. But I get it.
yeah, exactly. And it seems like she seems like a nice woman, but she just got a
I,
lot of things that she's letting hold her down. I mean, it's a good thing they don't have no kids because then
y-
she
y-
really would be in a bad situation. And like I said, it just sounds like the guy that she's with, he don't really care nothing about her. Because he can get what hell, he has a place to stay, and he don't have to worry about that. He don't have to worry about food. He can hit the streets when he want to and come back, and I mean, it just some people. I just said to myself, they have to learn on their own, and
exactly.
they got to hit bottom before they
Mm,
realize that I'm tired of this, and she gonna have to, and that's where it looked like she's going. Where one day she gonna say, "I'm tired of this," and that's why I say I hope
yeah.
she don't snap in the wrong way. Hope she snap in the right way, where she just said, "Look here, I'm tired of it. Get your things and go." Or if you don't, I will.
Hmm.
And when she give him that, and she just let him know, hey, if it doesn't change, if you can't change by the end of the week, I'm out of here.
Now, I want to touch base on this church thing, and then we're gonna get out of here with
Yeah,
this. But I want to talk about my time in the church. Now, you said I feel guilty because my church friends remind me that I should be focusing on building myself up and not dragging myself down with him. Now, let's call a spade, right? They're speaking some truth to you with that because we're gonna tell you the same thing. At
yeah,
least I am. I'm sure Birdman's gonna feel the same way. But in that, you got to be very careful, like Birdman was saying with the church and being wrapped up and trapped up with people in the church. Because I have been in the church where people had to get high and get drunk before going into service and going into worship, or people who sat there and talked about this one and that one. What did this person have on? What did that person have on? So I know that the Bible says that we have to remove the log from our eye before we can even think about removing it from somebody else's eye. So look at yourself in the mirror and take care of yourself first before you can even think about telling somebody else what's going on in their world. So be very careful with some people in the church because it was a bad turn off for me that made me not even want to go to church when I seen people talking about what this person got on. You got to get drunk, or maybe not even get drunk, just have a drink, which I don't even morally, that just don't sit right with me. Smoking before you go into worship, and then, or that's the first thing that you do as soon as you get out, or the group of people that you were sitting with on a pew, y'all go to this person's house, y'all go to that person's house, and y'all just sit around and get drunk and high and talk about people in the church. Like, what was I experiencing? So be careful with church folk because they might be the same people, as my grandmother would say back in the day, that don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out, and they sitting here pointing and telling you what to do, but they don't even have their own lives together.
You know, that's funny you say that, because I went to church with my mother and my aunt, and that was the first time I ever went to church with my aunt. Church was right down the street from her. I went with them one time, and I told them, no disrespect, but I won't ever come back here again. And two of my cousins, man, and these dudes here, they up here, they got a 40-ounce and a joint. Walk in the church and walk up and get in the pulpit. One of my cousins, he said, look here. He said, look here, cuz. I'm like, what, man? He said, I'm gonna call you. I said, no, don't you do it. I said, because I said, dude, you call me up there. I said, you might be laying there. I said, I'm not coming up there. I'm telling you now. This dude gets up there in the pulpit and he looks over at me, and I just, hey, man, shook my head. And then he said, well, I better not call this person here if I want to, I don't want to lose friendship with him. So he called somebody else. And then we leave out of church, walk down to my aunt's house. Man, they grabbed another 40 and lit up. And I'm like, man, I said, dude, tell me something, man. How can you stand up in the pulpit and tell people something when you're doing this? And neither one of them could really give an honest answer or a straight answer. And I said, if I go up in the pulpit, I said, that means I don't drink no more and I don't smoke no more. I don't feel comfortable stepping up in the pulpit, looking out at people and then trying to, preach to them about what, things, whatever the sermon gonna be about. I don't feel comfortable like that. And both of them was trying to be preachers. And some of my other cousins, they were saying, boy, they said, hey man, they ain't nothing but crooks. My aunt, she said, they ain't nothing but crooks. And I told her, I said, I'm not coming to church no more. And then she said, because those two, I said, yep. And she said, I already knew it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you another thing that turned me off from I'm not here to say that this religion versus that religion, because I did change. I moved from Christianity. But since this is a financial show, let's just keep it real. The first time that I have ever heard a pastor, and I said this past Labor Day when I was speaking to family members, the first time that I ever heard a pastor speak about how you should not be in debt, how you should spend money wisely, how you should make proper decisions when it comes to your money, I didn't hear that in a Christian church. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to put it out there like that, but I know this ain't Spiritual Sunday. This is Wind Down Wednesday, but there's a such thing as prosperity preachers where they just preach whatever they need to preach so that you can line their pockets, and they're not interested in helping the church, the congregation, get their finances together, because as long as you stay stuck, you'll continue to line their pockets and you be broke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take it there, but it's reality.
And something else, I learned this from, it was just one, a lot of people say if you want to have counseling, you go to a preacher, go to the church. And don't get me wrong, I know, like I said, my first marriage was so screwed up. And we did go there. And then soon as she left and went back to Michigan, the minister was trying to hook me up with his daughter.
Well, see, he already knew.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, he said, I've been talking to my daughter about you." I'm like, "About me?" And then I come to find out, but I found out the reason why, because there was this one lady that I was over to her house. She was doing my resume for me to get a job. And she told him I was over there, and he thought I was trying to get with her when I heard it that they was get. And that's another thing, it's always rumors going through churches. You can always guarantee you're gonna hear a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, you need to be careful about going over her house. And I'm like, but her mother and my mother was best friends. And you just need to be careful. So when he tried to do that, I said, Mom, I said, guess what? But I went and talked to my dad about it because him and my dad was tight. And my mom said, well, your dad and him, they got something going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And she said, yeah. And so I told my mom about it. And she said, he trying to hook you up with his daughter because he don't want you to get with her. And I said, that's not even in my intentions, man. I had no intention to get with nobody. All I wanted to do was get my life better and do better. But everybody already
Mm.
knew what I wanted and what I needed. And they didn't. I told me, that's what she said. That's why I don't say nothing to you. You know what you want, you know what you need, just do it. I'm not gonna tell you anything. She said, but if I see it going wrong, I may mention it to you. But that don't mean you gotta listen to
Mm.
me. She said, because I don't ever want you to
Right.
say, oh, I listened to you and this is what happened.
Mm.
So that's why,
That's
I
an
say, her talking to her church people, if she got one friend, that's all she needs. She don't need a bunch of church friends. One friend that she can console in, okay. But if you talking to a group of them, she looking for trouble.
I know that's right.
you know, I don't mean to
When
say
you
it like that because I
it's
don't want
reality.
nobody. Yeah, I mean, like I said,
Seeking
man, go
yeah,
ahead.
people seeking validation outside of themselves, reaching out to this person, reaching out to that person, telling that person, that will destroy you and bring you down more than it will lift you up. You thinking that you confide in somebody, you thinking that you're getting that support system, that help that you need, but you tell it to the wrong person. All they're gonna do is fuel the negativity, fuel the lack, fuel the scarcity that's already in. You need somebody to help you get out of that type of mindset. So yeah. Mm,
Exactly.
wow. Well, I think we dissected this here enough tonight. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that there's any which way you can look at it. Spiritually, when you don't know who you are, you settle for things that don't align with your purpose in life. Mentally, we spoke about doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Now you're taking yourself through a mental trip. You are in this quicksand relationship. You're doing the same thing over and over again and you can't get out. And we all know what happens with quicksand. If you stay in there long enough, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to be able to pull yourself out.
Oh
Physically,
yeah.
running yourself in the ground for what? For somebody else. That person don't care nothing about you today or tomorrow, but you're running yourself in the ground, making your physical appearance, making your physical well-being less than for somebody else. If you think about that, when it's really a life or death situation and you think about how somebody could take advantage of you and take away your physical because it's all about them, after a while, once you sit in that corner alone and you think about it, that beast in you will beast up and be like, "Oh hell no, it's gonna be me or you because this is a life or death situation." And you'll start to look at that person a little bit differently when you realize that they don't mean no good for you and they just want to try to take you out because the enemy only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Absolutely not.
Exactly.
And then financially. Come on now. When you realize that you can't do the things that you want to do in life because you sat there and sacrificed for somebody else who did the 180 on you and don't give two craps about you. Come on now. But again, I get it. Maybe not here today, but listen, tomorrow's another day. Like my mentor told me back in 2020, think about all of the downright dirty, disrespectful, no good things that were either said about you, done to you, your family. Come on now. You'll start to think a little bit different. There's a thin line between love and hate.
Most definitely.
All right. So we don't get into this burning question for tonight because I actually have this. I'm gonna put this in your court, Birdman. I need you to help us tonight. And I'm gonna stay silent on this one because sometimes I need to look in the mirror. But how do we
Yeah.
how do we recognize when God is clearly showing us a relationship is draining our spirit and not aligning with his will? I'll repeat that again. How do we
Ooh.
recognize when God is clearly showing us a relationship is draining our spirit and not aligning with his will? What do
Wow, man. That I always say, and I've heard some people say, yeah, but no, you gotta listen. You also gotta listen to your heart, and if you feel in your heart that this is the right person, then hey, stay with that person, and y'all can work it out. If you can conversate, if you have somebody who also believe in God with you, then things will work out a lot better. Um, hey man, that we you threw that
mm.
at me, man. But whoa, boy. But now I that's all I can say is like who I'm with. Like she said, I don't go to church, but I pray every day. I believe in that. I feel the same way. So her and I get along just right.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
can use that for example. And I said, that's me, I mean, all during the day. She said, all during the day I'm saying a prayer. I said,
That's beautiful.
yeah. And so then, I do. Sometimes I forget to say one in the afternoon, but most of the time I am. And we don't pressure each other as far as saying, "Oh, we're gonna get married because this is what." No, to me, marriage is nothing but a piece of paper. Always have been just a piece of paper that messed up.
That man made
Man,
up.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say something else, but yeah, that man made up to trap people because most of the time when people get married they're gonna end up getting a divorce. I don't know why. And those who don't get married, they stay together a whole lot longer.
I know my family member. Shout out to you if you out there listening. She's older. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to put people out there, but 70s. She told me, Laren, everything was good. It was great before we got married. But the minute we got married, everything changed.
Yeah.
And and I don't even want to put this out there even more, but I was speaking to somebody last week who they're up there around the same age bracket, told me that their husband accused them of cheating. And I looked at her and said, oh, y'all got to worry about this at your age? Absolutely not. Come on now. But go ahead. And this is a married person
Yeah.
too. But anyway.
But I always feel like, that person, God speaks to everybody differently. So that's something else. I don't know how he speaks to you. I don't know how he speaks to anybody that's on here. I don't know how he speaks to. I know how he speaks to me, and that's the only thing. That's the only thing I can say about that. I mean, I know how he speaks to me. Um, when I guess when you can say there's danger, he lets me
Hmm.
know in a way that. He may not let somebody else know, but he does. Because I mean, like I said, I'm always asking for forgiveness. Forgive me for my sins, all that. But if you're not listening, he won't speak to you. I will say that,
Mm.
because there was times when
Well,
I didn't listen, and then then I said, "Wow, man." I said something was telling me this, and I didn't listen to it, and look where I'm at now.
I know that's right. I will say, like, this burning question really touches me a lot because again, I got to look in the mirror, and God has spoken to me several times about certain things, and like I said, sometimes we could be hard-headed. The Bible says that some of his children are stiff-necked and disobedient, and I get it.
Yeah,
And I want to challenge you a little bit. I want to challenge you just a little bit. I'm in my bag tonight, so I want to challenge you a little bit. Great relationship now, and that comes from when people are equally yoked. And I know you've probably heard that before, but when people have issues, when relationships don't work out and are draining and it doesn't make sense, sometimes it's because we're not equally yoked. So if you go to church and the other person goes to the club, that's not equally yoked. But if two people believe and are moving towards the same direction, okay, now we're talking. But one can't be out in the streets and the other one, you know, go on to Bible study. It just doesn't work that way. But if two people are on the same page, it makes sense. That's what the Bible speaks about when it says be equally yoked. Trust and believe. That's why some of my relationships didn't work out or my marriages didn't work out because we weren't equally yoked. I know you said one thing when it says trust your heart. Now, I didn't know this, so this is the reason why I'm bringing this up. But the Bible says that the heart is the most deceitful thing above all things on your body. So when people tell you to trust your heart, you have to be very careful because our heart is what gets us in trouble. When people start to play with our heartstrings, when we open up our heart, we can get into some trouble. So it's that mind, it's that mindset, it's that mind that we have to be very on point with and in tune with. Make sure that our mind is good and nobody gets into our mind. I just wanted to throw that out there.
that's why I said some gonna disagree and some not. But I will
Yeah,
disagree
yeah,
on
I
it.
got you.
Growing up in my hometown, majority of the women went to church and the husbands was in the clubs,
No good.
but they stayed together. And I know this because my mom was going to church, and my dad stayed at home. He would go
Hmm.
to the clubs on the weekend. Well, he was a drummer too, so that had a lot to do with it. But a lot of times he leave the club, he go to the gambling house. He leave the gambling house,
That
he,
sounds so funny to me.
and he go to the gambling house, leave the gambling house, pass right by the whorehouse. you know, and then he'll creep on home. And that was the truth. So many of the older men
Yeah,
my
yeah.
friends, their dads were like that. That's
Hmm.
how it was. They would get paid. They would come home. They get dressed. They go to the club, do what they do. Like I said, because my dad, he played the drum, and he played with local bands throughout the city. He would do that. Then he'd leave there, and he'd go to the gambling house, and then he'll leave the gambling house, and he would go down the street to the whorehouse or the whore area. They had about 2 3 home houses there, and he do what he got to do, but then he come home.
Yeah, yeah. Is
And
it?
yeah, I mean, it's no shame because everybody knew about it. Even our mothers knew it, but they stayed around until like my mom outlived my dad, and most of the guys, my friends, their mothers outlived their dads.
I know what you mean. My grandmother told me about all of it. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? What? Are you kidding me?" She was like, "Yeah, we stay together."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay." But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because that was new to me because SWV has a song called "Use Your Heart
Yeah.
and Not Your Mind," and I think that that's wrong. I know that that's deceiving the people because you don't want to use your heart because your heart is the most deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So who can know it? You can, your heart will make you feel one way, and here you are doing something that you weren't even meant to be or meant to do because you were trusting your heart. So I just felt to figure I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Be a little be a little controversial.
Oh yeah.
Cause when I found that out, I was like, oh shoot. Okay, all right, I got you. I gotta be careful.
Yeah. The heart can I will say that too. The heart, can get you in trouble too. So
That's that thing that make you walk around saying you in love.
exactly. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and then And then, all right, so now we're gonna hit it with two more songs, and then we're gonna get out of here. So, of course, Tina Turner has a song called "What's Love Got to Do with It?" But then for the young people out there, Little Kim has a song called "Spend a Little Dough." I'm just saying.
Lil Kim. Oh, we okay. Oh,
She has a song called "Spend a Little Dough," and yeah,
okay. Okay.
she pays homage to Tina Turner in that record. Just want to let y'all know that that was my joint back in the day,
Oh, okay. Okay.
1997, six, something around that era.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, anyway, so we gonna get off of that. So for those of you out there, thank y'all so much. Let me tell you, D Live was on tonight. YouTube was on tonight. I appreciate y'all. Facebook was on tonight. But D Live, y'all really doing the thing out there. I appreciate y'all. So if you want to chime in on tonight's burning question or the show, let us know how we doing, how the vibe is going. Text me at 609-200-1098. You can also, excuse me, you can also email me at info@larengaines.com. Let me know how you feel about the show. Reach out to me on any of my social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. And on that note, Mr. Birdman 313, close us out for tonight. What do we have going on in your neck of the woods?
Really, this weekend, nothing. Nothing. The day Tuesday, but no, day Wednesday. Excuse me.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
wind down
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's one lady. She has this reading, but I won't know until like about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and it starts at 8. So right now, nothing. Like I said, I'll be working on these videos. You can go to Amazon, and there's 10 of my books there at amazon.com/author/birdman313. You can find, like I said, 10 of my books. You can go to Instagram, Birdman31355. You can see videos. A lot of my new videos, a lot of the stuff I did this past weekend with other poets, musicians. You can see that. Matter of fact, I sent you a couple of them on Instagram, Laren, so you can see them. Uh,
I'm gonna check
you
that
can
out.
go to Spotify to read. Wait a minute, hold up. Coffee, Wine, and Words. I got to get that right. Go to Coffee, Wine, and Words on Spotify, and I have 11 videos there. You can go to my YouTube channel, and that's where you'll see all the stuff we did this weekend. Me and my other poetry friends is our youtube.com/author poet birdman 31355. It's all one word. You can go there and you can see all the new matter of fact, all my new videos that I've posted. I think I've posted like 4 or 5 new ones outside of the ones that we did this weekend. So that's how you can get a hold of me, or you
That's
can follow
awesome.
me and check out my work. If you want to purchase a book, go ahead. It's not mandatory, but check out and just see if you find something that you like. Hey, purchase it, and you can always tell me some kind of way. Get hold to me and tell me how you like the poems. If not,
That's awesome. Now, I want to close up this show, but I want to be very transparent. I have met a lot of people over the past 5 years that I've been doing this, and I would be incorrect if I didn't tell you thank you so much, Birdman. I know I've said it to you 1,000 times, but I've met plenty virtual friends. I've even met some people in person, although I've never met you. So I will tell you that in person, I will tell you that you are one of the best top tier virtual friends that I've met in my lifetime doing this since 2020. And I can't wait for the opportunity to meet you in person. Having said that, I have met several people. They have betrayed me, they have backbited. They have stole some stuff. They don't even talk to me anymore. Like it's been a mess since I started this, and I had to learn how to deal with people accordingly on a professional level and a professional level. However, in real life, people that I do interact with, sometimes there's still that issue where we trip up and we're human and we make poor decisions. But let me tell you, the words that you spoke tonight definitely helped me, and I'm going to be able to rest my head tonight knowing that I'm going to be in a better position tomorrow thanks to the words that you said tonight. Thanks to when I can look back and think about the time that we spent on air, off air, the words of encouragement back and forth. Like, no cap, you're the real deal, and I definitely do appreciate you. And I could have not done any of this without you.
appreciate that. Hey man, but we like you think you have to get do a program about getting messed over. I ran across the same thing. People. There's people who got my manuscript and said they were gonna publish the book for me, and guess what? They quit. They just quit speaking to me altogether.
I we will I'm put that on. I'm gonna put that on the docket because I had people that. Yeah, we're gonna put that on the docket. We're not gonna do it tonight,
Yeah,
but yeah, I got people who are having own identities, and that's not even their identity because they were following behind what somebody else was doing,
yeah.
and wasn't them. But I just want to say thank you because I think of songs from Jody Watley. Like when I was like 8 years old, why did I like cling to songs like from Jody Watley like Friends? Why was that like a major staple that I could recite it lyric by lyric? I didn't know what was going on with Friends back in the day. I didn't know anything about it, but that song just, have you ever been stabbed in the back by someone you thought was really cool? Come on now.
Yeah,
It just resonates with me.
yeah. Hey, I know, man. I know. Yeah, that would be a good one there, man. Because I could tell you some things you'd be like, damn, thought I heard it all. I even think about it. And I had to laugh about it now. But during that time,
Yeah.
oh man, I wanted to do some real bad things, but I wouldn't. Man.
Yeah, I was walking. I'm gonna let y'all go with this here. I was walking across early in the morning. I do my walks, and I came across a black fox.
Fox?
So I looked it up. Yeah, fox. Now, fox can mean two things. It can mean wealth. See, you got to worry about the mindset too that you in. You got to make sure you're on the right mindset and you're on the right frequency. Because if somebody who's vibrating on a high frequency, they're going to think of a fox as wealth. So if anybody ever sees a fox that crosses your path, if you're vibrating on a proper frequency, you got wealth coming your way. However, if your mindset might be playing games on you, might be playing tricks on you, come across a fox, especially a black fox, could mean somebody's going to betray you.
Wow.
Now, remember, sometimes we think that the enemy is always doing something to us, but sometimes the enemy is within.
Ooh.
So we got to be careful and make sure that we're attuned to the right frequency. And that comes from the people that you're around, the stuff that you're consuming on TV, the music that you're listening to, the lyrics that you're listening to, your environment. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on and on. But I will just say that this is a crucial moment, and everybody, please stay tuned because next week we'll let you know. But after today, I don't know. It might be a little betrayal, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
God.
We all might need to get on the right frequency. I might need to vibrate a little higher. And on that note, I think I'm done. How about you?
Yes. Hey, man. Hey, when you get a chance, I know you love music. Listen to a band out of New York called Black Ivory.
Black Ivory. Oh, I also wanted to tell you, I listened to that what was his name? Gil
Gil
Heron,
Scott
whatever.
Heron.
Okay. All right. So he has something called Enjoy Yourself. But I was busy on Sunday and that Enjoy Yourself record was like 25 minutes long. I said, listen, I know you telling us to enjoy ourselves, and it made sense, and it almost sucked me in. And about maybe like 10 minutes in, I said, listen, bro, I don't know if I could commit. I don't know if I could commit to 25 minutes of enjoy yourself, but I know what the message feels like, and I want to feel you. But could I truly commit to 25 minutes when I got work to do? I had to turn it off, but I want to go back and listen to it again.
Yeah. Well, back then a lot
That enjoy,
of them had their records was like Brass Construction was like that. Rare Earth was like that, man. Their music was long, man. I mean, those are really what you call dance floor music. But Gil Scott Heron, hey, man.
yeah,
Matter of
that
fact, me and the poet, we was talking about that this weekend, man. Talking about Gil Scott Heron. He got some real deep stuff, man.
that enjoy yourself really had me going. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
started off with enjoy yourself. I don't know if that's the name of it, but he was basically saying enjoy yourself, and it made sense. But I couldn't commit to it at that moment. It was like it was that yeah, that
Yeah.
joint was long. I said 25 minutes. Nah, I got stuff to do, and I but
Oh yeah. See,
I'm gonna listen to it.
you couldn't listen to our music back then, because a lot of it was like that. Temptations got along. Oh, hey man, 15. Oh yeah, that was the standard there.
Nowadays, records be like 2 minutes long. I'll be so
Yeah,
mad. That's because you want to get streams, views. You want to get views. You want me to keep on hit and repeat.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
you be in the song, and as soon as it get good, it's over. I'll be like, dang, that's messed
Oh
up.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go and get out of here and
All right.
rest and relax and pray for another
Oh
day.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I appreciate
Good,
it.
good to hear from you, man.
Absolutely. What a great show tonight. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so next week, same place, same time, reading between the wines.
Oh yeah.
All right. Take care, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you do. You do the same, man.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was author Birdman 313. What an amazing show tonight. What an amazing viewership tonight. I want to say shout out to D Live, shout out to YouTube, shout out to Facebook. Thank y'all so much. I've seen a bunch of y'all popping in and out throughout the night, and I appreciate that. Please do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, invite them in. hit them up on this replay. We got more great episodes coming in the future, so you definitely want to stay tuned in, locked in on all social media platforms. That's on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. I will apologize to Daily Motion folks tonight, but we will not be posting tonight, and that's okay. But you'll catch us on the next round. I'm starting to figure out a couple things and know what the technical pieces work in here and there, but no posting on Daily Motion tonight. I got you, but we got you on all other platforms. Definitely check us out there, especially Spotify. Check us out on Spotify. Very special thank you to author Birdman 313. If there's anything that you heard tonight that sparked an interest in you, especially when it comes to the debt-free living, please do me a favor and check out LarenGaines.com. Click around, scroll around, check out. We're constantly adding new things to the website daily. Also, sign up for my free monthly newsletter, Whispers of Wisdom. I have not released it yet, but it's coming. It's coming this week. So for those of you who are listening who have not signed up for Whispers of Wisdom, do so now. Because if you miss this opportunity, if you miss this week window of signing up, you'll have to wait until October, the first week of October, in order to get the Whispers of Wisdom newsletter. And for those of you who have the Whispers of Wisdom newsletter, do me a favor and please share that with somebody. Share your newsletter with somebody who does not know anything about Black Diamond Consultations, does not know anything about the 4-1 podcast or Reading Between the Wines. When you get that inbox, when you get that email, just click forward and share that with somebody who you might feel need this information. You're going to get awesome, inspirational, motivational, debt-free living content delivered to your inbox once a month. If you want more information on how to come on in on a weekly basis, 4-1 podcast Reading Between the Wines mentorship series, DM me on any of my social media platforms. Email me, info@larengaines.com. If you want to know more information on how you can become debt-free, head on over to larengaines.com. Sign up for my free 15-minute consultation. Apply to see if you qualify. And when I say apply to see if you'll qualify, that is because this debt-free living journey, in the beginning, I used to get upset. I used to get real upset. Like, how come this person can't see X, Y, and Z? That makes sense. How come this person can't see X, Y, and Z? And what I realized is that is because this journey is not for everybody. What God has, my grandmother told me, what God has for you is for you. It's not for everybody else. It's not for everybody else to see. You will know if it's for you to see because you just won't want to do it anymore. You won't want to do the payday loans. You're getting sick and tired of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You are getting sick and tired of making only the minimum credit card payments. You are getting sick and tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. And you will want something different. You will want something better. You will be good and sick and tired of yourself. That is a good way that I'm going to start my programs work. My coaching sessions work better for who are good and sick and tired of being sick and tired of themselves. Not that person that wants to be pushed, not that person that wants to be coddled, not that person that has still got one foot in the club and the other person, not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but the one foot in the club, popping bottles and overspending, and the other person who got the other foot on the outside. Like, you got to pick and choose. And it truly is for people who have hit rock bottom and have had enough. And I can only speak from experience because I was there. And I said, absolutely not. To win a new credit card, advertisements come in the mail, I just rip them up in pure disgust. Like for the first year, once I became debt free, every 5 minutes there was a new credit card offer tempting me, like my girl Mary says, tempting me to feel different about me. Now you trying to tempt me to feel different about who I am Absolutely not. When you rip up all of those credit card advertisements in disgust and know that you will absolutely never do it again, you will not drag yourself back to hell, because hell is a state of mind. I'm going to get out of here tonight, but hell is a state of mind. See, some people think that we're going to hell, but some of us are living hell right here on earth with our own poor decisions. We talked about poor decisions tonight, poor financial decisions. And I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to get out of here because I've said too much. But thank you so much to each and every one of you out there listening, tuning in, joining in. Thank you to Birdman313. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. I will see you when I see you. Stay tuned for Financial Fridays. Also, this month, right here in September, how could I ever forget that we have 4-1 podcast Reading Between the Wines live coming up. I know and I need to get out of here, but check me out this Sunday. If you want to know information of where I am for the Reading Between the Wines tour, this Sunday is the first date. Come sample some wine with me. Come speak financial literacy. That is the most important aspect. Let's not get too carried away with the wine and the sampling and all of that great stuff. All of my friends, my family, people who haven't seen me in a minute, join me this Sunday. Special location. If you want to find out where I'm going to be at in New Jersey, I have 6 dates. Find out where I'm going to be at in New Jersey. DM me, text me. Let's speak financial literacy. Even though we sipping, we going to speak the truth. That's one thing that I'm adamant about. At 9:21, we got 9:7 this Sunday. We got 9:21, we got 9:28. We got 10:1, we got 10:5. Meet and greet, and let's speak about this money. Let's speak about changing some things. I also have the masterclass coming up, Unwrapping Financial Peace, Master Holiday Spending and Emergency Spending, and Emergency Saving, excuse me. Blame it on a Chardonnay. Unwrapping Financial Peace, Master Holiday Spending and Emergency Savings. Please pay attention, people. Christmas, the holidays, they come around the same time every single year. Nobody changed the date. It's always December 25th. Every single year. For how many years? So if we know that it's coming, let's be prepared. They always say Christmas in July. We technically should have been starting our Christmas shopping in July. Sometimes we got to pay attention. Christmas in July. That's what that means. Get ready, because things are getting ready to shift. But for those of you who have not started in July, you can still do something about it. Join me on Sunday, October 5th at 12 p.m. This is a private live stream session. This is not open for everybody. It's not open for the general public. Few select folk. Y'all heard me right? Few select folk. Go to LarenGaines.com. Find out more information about how you can reserve your seat. Got a lot of special giveaways. Got a lot of special perks. Some digital downloads that you'll get for free that will help you with your holiday spending. And we're going to work on this emergency savings, because guess what? After December 31st, what happens? We're in the new year. You got that week after Christmas, and you got all the way up until December 31st where we're starting to spend and not really realize that January 1st is coming. So we want to make sure that you have your emergency savings in place, because after it's all said and done, those are all gifts. Materialistic things. We need to think beyond that. 10:31, we have Financial Fridays. Alex Coquito, all the way from Puerto Rico, coming in. 10:2, Coaching Sessions Thursday. We have Miss Tanya, aka SOS, coming in. Right here, same place. 10:1, very special show of Reading with the Birdman 313. 9:30, author Melbourne Parapali, all the way from India, international guest, Transformational Tuesdays, Mental Mondays, 929, friend of the show, it's been here several times, Neil Jones Jr., all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. 928, we have another friend of the show, Miss Queen Dawn Spirit. Oh, we gonna really have a great show that evening. Spiritual Sundays, 928. Check me out on all of my social media platforms. I'm going to be posting information daily, weekly on all of the live guests that we have coming in. And when I say live, that means lights, camera, action. You'll be able to see me and my guests interact face to face. Cameras on, audio on. We're all on. So check me out for the 411 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. This 5 restoration. This is part 2 of the live series. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will say that I have enjoyed this Sutter Home Chardonnay. And we'll do it again eventually. I'll see you when I see you. Take care, y'all. Have a good night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, where growth is always on the menu, and every pour reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Laryngains. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and Dailymotion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.
Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, text a friend, invite them in. This has been an amazing moment tonight. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.